Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm here with Ryan at the moment, and we're going to be reviewing Kingdom Come Deliverance. Now, Ryan, your first impression of Kingdom Come Deliverance?
I was hooked from the first peasant I punched. That's for sure.
Okay, well, the thing is with me for this game is I didn't have any expectations going into it to start with. I haven't heard much of the game. I saw some trailers and it intrigued me. It interested me directly. I mean, did you have the same?
Yeah, no, I just recently heard about it. I think like the day of the release or maybe the day before, I started hearing more and more about it. Obviously, it was like pretty big seller on Steam. And I've wanted a game like this for a little while. Big fan of Skyrim, big fan of a couple other medieval-esque games, but never really had one that like really puts you into role playing quite like Kingdom Come does.
Oh yeah, I completely agree with that. I mean, this game, it's so hyper realistic, and you can tell that from the word go. I mean, the first sequence, you're a nobody. You're nothing. You get, depending on how you play it, you can get utterly annihilated by some old man who's just beating the crap out of you. You're made to, the game is made to perceive you as somebody who is not a master, who has to learn his skills and learn his trades in order to improve and become better. And you add the aesthetic and the look of this game. This game is beautiful to look at, as you would have seen from the first couple of sequences of the video. I'm in the middle of the night. This is gameplay from me. It's on my computer. I am playing with a controller, so that's why there's controller prompts. But I mean, the detail is just stunning. You got the night, the moon, how the fire looks and the light shading, even to just when you're walking around in the daylight, the shading from the trees and from yourself is just incredible. I mean, what are your takes on this, Ryan?
Yeah, no, it really is. It's very realistic, and I'm sure this will get brought up again, but the hitbox of yourself, just like relative to other things, is very realistic. And I know there's some bugs related to it, I think, but it really lets runs into the immersion, like how close you can get to doors, the fact that you get stuck if you're too short. Like I know maybe that's a problem for some, but I know it just feels like you're there, like you have to like navigate the scene.
I know there's some bugs with hit detection, not from a combat perspective, from a general perspective, but I just want to quickly go into the inventory system. What are your takes on the inventory system? Of course, you've got your inventory, your player, horse, quest log, map, and codex is shown on the screen right now. Are you a fan of the way that they've done the inventory system, or do you think there was more there to be desired?
I think maybe from like a starting standpoint, it's very well laid out, but it's also a little cluttered in some places. I think the skill screen is maybe a little intense, but I like the idea that it's not just, oh, you just have one piece of armor on it. It's like you have layers like you normally would. Like it just adds that extra level of depth that we've been talking about.
No, I enjoy that as well. Of course, then you get all the weight added onto that, and you've got to manage not only the clothing that you're wearing, but what you're carrying as well. I mean, all the weight really takes into consideration, as it would if you want to be a valiant knight and have a lot of armor. One, it's very expensive, and two, it will weigh you down. It'll make you slower. And I think that's something that I'm enjoying personally. It's a lot of fun to have that immersion of, well, if I'm going to be protected, it's going to be heavy. If I'm going to get stabbed with a sword, I've got all this protection, but I'm not going to be able to dodge. And I enjoy watching it. I enjoy playing it, and from the inventory system myself, I think there is a little bit more to be desired there. It's very simplistic. It does remind me a lot of Oblivion. There are actually quite a few things that remind me of Oblivion, with the compass at the top, and the health bar and the stamina bar. Now, just at the moment, what's going on in the video is I'm just inside of a church, and you can see from here just the incredible detail that the developers have gone it to in order to produce this game. Every little bit of this area has been completely handcrafted. This is just a small church just in the middle of a town. When you're in cities, they're really well built and it's really thought out, but the smaller villages just seem to be a little bit left to the wayside, from my opinion. What about you, Ryan?
I mean, with a game of this size, you can only expect so much. I mean, just trying to compare it to other games similar size, like there's a lot of reusing, but at the same time, you know, the beauty does come from the fact that this has been in development for almost like 6 or 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
Just from the get go, like every little piece, every little hair, even the character models, are hand done. Like, yeah, they use a few bits and pieces there, but like the end bit is all like fine tuned to make sure it looks just right, and boy does it.
Definitely. Now, what's just happened is I've just shown you some unarmed combat, and now I'm in the archery stage. Now, as you can see from the archery stage, we'll just go into this quickly. There is no crosshair, so you have to judge it completely yourself, as if you would a regular bow and arrow. When we talk about realism within this game, the realism is there. It's strong. I mean, the better the bow, the better the weight of the arrow, really. Your arrow's not going to drop more if you've got a stronger bow, and so on. And the arrows themselves make a difference, as they would in real life. If you have a better crafted arrow, of course, it's going to do more damage. Right now, as you can see here, I am just practicing my sword fighting. Sword fighting is very realistic, in my opinion. You got what was taught back then in the medieval era are the 5 points of sword combat: head, top right, top left, bottom right. That was an actual technique taught back in the medieval area, if I'm not mistaken, and that was the basics of sword fighting. Now, the sword fighting in this game can be quite difficult. It is based upon blocking, parrying, stabbing and slashing, but you can't go at it just slashing as much as possible, because you will get parried and you will die that way. I've played this game for quite a while now, hence why you can see that I've got quite a bit of equipment. But Ryan, I know that you've only just come out of the prologue itself. How are you finding the sword fighting and the archery at the moment, because you've just got your hands on it?
Yeah, well, I actually like the way they introduce a lot of it to you. So I don't really like when games handhold you through the first couple stages, like, please jump here, like prompts like that, just kill me. So I like the way where it'll be like, hey, go to the fighting arena, or hey, go to the archery range, and then they really they walk you through it as if like you would be walked through it if you were being taught, like back in those days. Like, it's very natural progression. And it doesn't even go on for that long. It's very like, all right, you get what you need to do, you've learned it enough, and then you move on. It's very well paced in that sense, and I definitely get a lot out of it by just progressing.
Now, the story itself, starting off, I mean, the prologue can take 4 to 5 hours. It's quite a lengthy prologue, and I've heard a lot of complaints of people saying that the game is very slow paced. But I don't feel like it was at the start. I felt like it was paced really well. I'm not going to go into spoilers and ruin any of the story plot points, but for me, personally, I think it was paced really well. It had fast-paced moments, it had slow-paced moments, and both of them together really set the story of the game, in my opinion. Did you feel the same?
Yeah, well, what I liked the most about this intro scene is the level of detail they went into. It's not just there, you have to go through this thing. Again, not about this whole hand holding, you have to do this, the other thing. For example, I have gone almost 3 ways of getting out of the castle at the second stronghold there. One, I had to bribe my way out because I stole some stuff. The other time, he actually told me to go steal it to get out. And the last time, you could just jump over a fence. Like, the level of, like, you have some autonomy in just the prologue itself. It's just fascinating. So it doesn't feel slow because of that. Like, it'll give you an option. Like, there's just a lot more to explore than just a prologue.
No, of course, yeah. Now, like, of course, when you come out of the prologue, the world is more or less your oyster, but you're better off going in training than wandering the wilderness. Whilst it's beautiful to look in the wilderness, if you wander into a bandit who has better knowledge of swordplay than you do, he's going to murder you. Look at how realistic this game generally is. If you want to be better at swordplay, go and practice in the arena. That's the best way to learn. Go and practice your blocking. Go and learn all your different skills. You know, go horse riding. This is the way that you learn this game. You want to, like I said, if somebody keeps beating you, then you need to go and practice your sword play. You need to go and practice in the arena. I just want to really quickly jump onto the fast traveling system and the map, as you can just see here. So with the fast traveling system, you have waypoints that you can fast travel to. Now, when you're fast traveling, you'll come up to encounters in which you'll have a choice to either, you know, see how the counter is, or a chance to ignore the encounter. As you can see here, this is a general encounter of bandits trying to attack me on the road. I'm a lot stronger than they are, I have better weapons and better training, hence why I was able to cleave them down. Just gonna really recap and, you know, an overall thought from yourself, Ryan. You know, your first thoughts of the game. You're about 9 hours in now. How would you recommend this to anybody?
Oh, strongly. I think that anybody who's paid attention to like levels of detail in other games and have been frustrated by things like I've been talking about, you know, the whole hand holding, the fast travel like you had brought up, the fact that there's actually a penalty to, like, you can't just live your life and just steal and no problem will be had. Like there's a very real penalty to almost every decision you make in the game, or reward for that matter. So I really think that if someone has a high level of attention to detail to this game, with these small niche points, this game does a fantastic job of addressing them.
I agree. I would highly recommend this. Now, there are of course its flaws, but when you look at the game developers themselves, you know, it was a very small team of only a couple of people. If you're going into this game and expecting it to be complete without bugs, that's not going to happen. If you go into this game comparing it to a different RPG such as the Elder Scrolls franchise, then you're not going to enjoy yourself. You need to go into this completely open-minded, understand that at first there will be bugs, and then until patches come in, which there are future planned patches, they've already announced that they're, you know, changing such things as the lock picking mechanism. Then you also take the modders that are going to get involved, and this game is going to be something incredible. If you're really into your history, you're really into, you know, intriguing mechanisms and so on within a game, then I would highly recommend this. If you really enjoy some linear story and some interesting characters, this, in my eyes, is a game for you. So don't discourage it from what you've heard. Make up your own decision regarding it. Hopefully, you know, because you're watching this review, you're interested in buying it. But it's completely down to you. These are our personal opinions. You know, if you have bought the game, let us know what you think about it. If you've been enjoying it, if you've been disappointed by it, and you know, we'd love to hear what you have to say about it, really. But other than that, I think it's best we leave it there. So thank you guys for joining us. If you got all the way to the end, then think about subscribing. But once again, thank you guys, and we'll try and get some more videos out.